Nobody likes this. Everybody likes this. What if this could be this? Probably not gonna be the way to go there. For people interested in displaying their LEGO Star Wars sets, the 2022 Boba Fett's throne room is incredibly ugly for display. It does not very well represent the source material of the palace. The 2012 version of Jabba's palace, however, is fantastic. With an accurate-looking roof, a very tall guard tower, it's really got everything going for it. The problem is, if you want to buy the 2012 Jabba's palace now, it goes for $400 new in box on eBay. Meanwhile, the brand new LEGO set costs just $100, making the choice pretty easy for most consumers. You're going to buy the cheap one. But let's say you have $200 and you buy two of the Boba Fett's throne room sets and combine them into Mega Boba Throne Room Palace. It's no secret I am not into modifying my LEGO sets. I buy and build everything to the specifications of the manufacturer. And today, I'm breaking that personal rule. Now, I'm not going to keep it the way I build it here, but for the sake of the video, is it possible? We gotta find out. Because I'm gonna let you in a little secret. This roof ain't it, Chief. And those of you who can't afford $400 deserve better. And if you buy a second Boba's throne room, make sure you sell the minifigs. I mean, I bet some people are going to want to keep that Gamorrean guard just so they have two, but the other 6 minifigs you can sell and get a good chunk of change back for, and that'll help cut your costs down to create the ultimate Boba Fett's throne room palace thing. I think it would be easiest for most people to start out with an already constructed 2022 version and then Frankenstein it together with parts from their second version. And that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to try and, as closely as possible, model it after the 2012 version. So we're going to double the height of the guard tower with the pieces that, obviously in this set, you're going to double the pieces exactly the same. So it'll be pretty easy to double the height of the guard tower. We're going to try to create some sort of a round roof with a little bit of extra height to it, and we're certainly going to double this dark tan area. That'll be a pretty easy thing to do because I think this looks pretty rough like that, and we're just going to try to make it look similar. So here we go. I've separated all my minifigs out and I've set up a sale for all of them for $35. Like I said, nice chunk of change. I've already removed the cantina section from my original, and I want to recreate the guard tower first, so I'm going to remove the guard tower from the palace. Oh, yep, perfect. Okay, yeah, we'll pop that right back on there for now. After about 30 minutes of screwing around, this is what I've come up with. It's much more similar to 2012 as far as the height goes. You can see they're getting relatively closer, but as close as I could reasonably get them. I didn't mess too much with this base area for the 2022 version because it really couldn't be messed with too much. I didn't feel like the parts were there. I could probably make it a bit taller for the doorway, actually, but I basically forwent the door's functionality. I can no longer move it up so that I could actually move this a little bit forward, 1 brick forward, and just basically make it look a little bit bigger. So that's what I did there, just to give it a little bit of a better profile. And it's not the best looking thing, but we don't have any pieces like this to kind of create this shape on the very top here for everything. So I kind of worked with what I had. The middle section, I'm going to start by taking everything off down to this layer and just immediately adding another layer of these dark tan bricks. I won't be able to expand it because there's only this many of these dark tan bricks in the set, so I won't be able to make it look too much like that. I might actually be able to add a small bit of side section expanded, basically see how it has a little bit of extra space on the left there compared to this one, which is really symmetrical. It might be worth doing that. I'll see what I can do, but we'll start by adding a layer. Pretty easy to just remove all that, and then I'll find all of these dark tan pieces and add them in. This is going to change the height of this section drastically, and I think it's going to make it look so much better. And it looks like with the inside of this Lego model, I won't even have to reinforce anything here, except for maybe this particular section. I'll have to add a little bit of a layer here for this brick to rest on, otherwise it might fall off like that. But all of these already have parts under them, so that makes it so incredibly easy to just lay these on top and be done, because on the original build it has these smaller tan ones on top of it anyway. So just like that, we already have something that looks much more respectable and much more similar to the 2012 version in the back. So it turns out for this wall to close flush with the middle area, you actually have to have the bricks come like that. And so if I had built it the way that the original thing was built and just added on the tan bricks like this, we would end up with something like this on the very ends, and it wouldn't close. So what I've done is I have moved the bricks on this side forward. So if you split it down the middle, instead of being 2, 1, 1, 1, it goes 2, 2, 1. So once I finish that up, I'm going to build the section that goes on top, which is going to be the gray part, and up on this build here. And you'll notice the difference between 2012 and what we have now is that there is another layer of dark gray above the brown before the tan. And as you see here, there's not another layer of dark gray. So I want to create something to match that, because that's part of the reason this looks so short and stubby compared to 2012. And I went to attach it and didn't realize it would end up being short. It's not wide enough. We need to expand. I'm incredibly proud of what I've come up with for the display side of the palace. It's almost a picture perfect match. However, the left side does have a little bit more width to it as far as the dark tan area goes, so it's a bit wider. This one feels a bit rounder. If you go in and do your own, you can certainly try to mess around with it, but this is what I found to be the easiest for me. Now, unfortunately, that's only one part of the story here. We still have the roof to go, and I really think a big challenge that I want to try to go through a little bit is to add a little bit more depth to the build. Now, what I think is going to be easiest for me to do here is to go in and basically add another section like this, a round section. I don't think I've used any parts of these to build any of this or this, so I think I should have the parts necessary to just basically tack on another section to the back of this base, and that's going to help it look so much better. So I have to raise the platform for the throne, and to do so I had to remove the rails that it had. So you see that 1x2 in the middle there that's in light gray, that's where the 1x2 rail piece used to be, where it would connect into there. So now it doesn't connect in there at all. I'm just using this to support now, and so I'll be able to raise this up as much as I please and need to get, basically I need to get these studs above ground level so that they don't interfere. So I think I'm gonna have to raise this, let's see, 2 plates maybe, which shouldn't be too difficult. I got tons of plates at my disposal to raise this up. I also took the top part off, so at least for now I'm keeping this as is, and at the very worst case I'll just raise it up like this, but I'm expecting to try to rework the very top of this as well. But I need to raise this up nonetheless so that it's a little bit higher. I think that's gonna need like 2 bricks there, and so I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I need to track down some pieces. I've modified the base to make it about 6 studs wider to make it look much more like the 2012 version. And so what I've done is underneath the throne, I've added in some support, and then I've also added in support underneath the actual throne. So I've added some building to that. And then I've added support in here for the different layers of plates, because you gotta put the plates on top. So you gotta have some bricks underneath so that it can actually not fall when you put a figure on it. So as I drop the throne in, what you'll notice is there's actually a bit of a gap. And so the way I'm going to cover that is with these little shiny grill pieces. I think those will look pretty cool there, and I really couldn't figure out a better way to do it. I mean, actually, I really could take, where do we have one? I'm sure we have to, well, we'd have to have 2. I could do that, and I think I'm going to do that because I think it looks better. So I'll cover the gap completely, and just like that, we have the flooring done. Now I need to figure out how to make this taller, and probably make even this area, like the door area, a little wider, because you can see how much wider it is in 2012. So much nicer. This is tiny here. Can't fit any, like, it's no competition. This is coming together surprisingly well. So you can see I've kind of cleaned out the throne room area, and then above that I've made a base on which I'm going to try to build somewhat of a dome shape. Look, this is what I've got left, and I really don't think it's going to be very easy. I don't know how good it's going to look, but I'm going to try. An option for you guys, you can always try and go order parts like this on eBay or Bricklink. They'll probably be expensive, but it is something you can order. It will cost a little bit more money, but it will still potentially cost less than going and paying $400 for a new in-box version of that set. But, you know, this is what we're working with right now. Not terrible. I'm pretty happy with how far I've come. So I kind of stumbled into this not terrible roof design. I mean, yeah, it was a pipe dream to try to create something like that. But by angling the 2 parts that would have otherwise been at the top of the tower if I only had one set at like 45 degrees, by attaching them like so, it actually, you gotta kind of feel for this spot, I guess, but it actually creates a somewhat reasonably good looking top to the palace. Then I spent a considerable amount of time shaping and contouring the roof. I'll give you a pretty good view of all this and what I've done so that you can try to recreate it for yourself if that's something you want to do. I think there's a stud. Well, there was a stud under there. And so as you can see, I tried my best to create something as similar as possible to the 2012 version there in the background. I think I did a considerably better job than I had expected. On top of that, this really did open up the throne room area. You could certainly go in and add some extra pieces in here to fill it out, but man, I like having all that empty space there. It's pretty cool. Unexpected issue, if I try to put that brick under the plate, it's not going to work because it's got the part that juts out on the back. And so I'm going to take the clip part from this build and put it onto the bottom of this and then add in another clip thing there so that I can attach it properly. Move that box! And after combining 2 of the Boba Fett's throne rooms, I have 1 mega Boba Fett's throne room. As close in style as I could get to the 2012 Jabba's Palace set. And I must say, I think I somewhat recreated the look. There are definitely some off angles, like here. They don't look as great. But from a dead-on angle, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not flat roof Boba Fett's throne room anymore. And I think that's worth something. I don't know how many of you guys will actually try this yourselves, but for anyone that does, I wish you luck. And I would say it would definitely go a long way to go out and get a few extra pieces that aren't included in the Boba Fett's throne room set, and that would make it look a lot better. But my goal for this video was just combining 2 of the sets on their own, nothing extra, to see what I could make, and that's what I came up with. One of the places I would really recommend trying to improve upon is this gap right here. It's something that I just couldn't do myself. It was also a slight oversight during production, but it's something that's not present on the 2012 version, and it's so much nicer without the gap. So if possible, if you go and try to do this yourself, totally try to fill in that gap. And if you do remake the Boba's throne room into a better palace, post it on my subreddit r/MandRproductions. I will see it there, and hopefully many other people can also see it there and share in the joy of your creation. So if you want to try to recreate my version of the big Boba's palace, I think there are enough still frames in this video where you can go back and pause where you need to try and figure out exactly what I did, and definitely take some liberties of your own. I think it's a very fun project to go and try to do. It took me a few hours to put this together after having already built the set on its own. You can build the original Boba's throne room in about an hour and 10 minutes, but then it's going to take you a few extra hours to kind of cobble this together. But I'm pretty proud of it. So like I said up front, I won't be keeping it like this. I will be reverting it to Boba's throne room, as I want my collection of Lego Star Wars sets to be complete. Plus, I already have the 2012 Jabba's Palace. I don't necessarily need to have a remodeled version that unfortunately looks worse because the roof pieces just don't come in the set. But I'm pretty happy with it overall. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Leave a like if you enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And you can check out more of my YouTube videos on the end screen now.